And the best part was Peter's Meat Hot Dogs and Dolly Madison Chocolate Milk. I think that was the absolute best time.
And the kids after the show, particularly those children in Altoona, and at that time, looked to me like they were kids that really didn't have too much of a home life. So I'd send home all the product, whatever it was that day. And I think that was another thing that brought them back, because maybe they didn't get really enough to eat at home, or maybe the right food.
Our sponsor was the Peter Meat products. And so we'd have all these products lined up, you know. And this villainous character, Rough Cut Jade, we called him, he would come sneaking in and try to steal the products. And the kids would all start screaming and hollering, you know, Bob, Bob, you know, this. There's Rough Cut Jade, catch him, catch him. And of course, that one day, Rough Cut Jade went running across the floor, sneaking out, and one of the kids had a rope, and he got lassoed him around the neck and almost choked him to death. So it was one of those things, you know, that happened on live television. This was all done live up to a certain point, and then we start taping the show.
Sheriff Bob decided to go down the row where I was sitting. What is your name? How old are you? So on and so forth. And it happened to be my nephew's birthday. So he said, this is a little birthday boy. How are you today? And he put up all 5 fingers. But he was not 5, he was 4. And being a compulsive person, I had to make sure I straightened that little thumb down there to show that he was 4 years old. So Sheriff Bob got a big chuckle out of that. And who is this? And, you know, I was the aunt. So I was only 5 years older, but I was the aunt.
In my years on the air, most people remember me as the sheriff, even to this day.
It was so exciting. I sat down with him. I told him how much it meant to me as a little kid when he made his rounds in the hospital. And, you know, it really had a lasting positive impression on me, and I got to actually tell him that, and tears started kind of coming to my eyes.
I saw Bob about 7 years ago now, down at the State Theater. And he came in, and I went up to him and I thanked him for, you know, the hospital stay. He brought me color crayons and, you know, pages to color on, and I says, you made me feel so good. I said, I'll never forget that. And I shook his hand and I thanked him for that. So I think he's a pretty special guy.
You know, the person doesn't have to come up to you and say, hello, are you Bob Dawson? They don't have to. But on the other hand, it's nice to have people that were on the show or brought their children out that will come and say, why don't you get back on the air again? Why don't you do this? You need to be back on the air. No. My late wife had said many years ago, even at the height of the children's show, I think you better get off of this because you're going to wear out your welcome. And I believe she was truly right. So you have to do something different. But it's nice to have people see you, remember those things, and I thank them graciously. Now and then somebody will say, have you got any pictures of yourself? Would you give me an autograph? And sometimes we literally autograph a matchbook cover that they can take back and show their friends, or on a restaurant paper napkin. It's kind of fun, and I think all of us like a little pat on the back to be remembered, and it was a great experience.
And the kids loved it, you know, they just loved Sheriff Bob.
We made sure to watch it.
Boy, in those days, it was stuff that we looked forward to.
It was a lot of fun.
I always thought Sheriff Bob was really the sheriff. I always thought that when he wasn't on television, that he was somewhere keeping Eau Claire safe. And I remember being younger, seeing him out and about, and sometimes he had his hat on. And so that always put it in my heart that, well, I can go to sleep tonight and rest good because Sheriff Bob is guarding Eau Claire.